Good evening, everyone. My name is Madaleen, and welcome to our presentation tonight. We are really excited to bring you this information. Myself, I'm an occupational therapist. I live on the Sunshine Coast, but tonight we have Vicky Jamieson. So Vicky is from Melbourne. She's a qualified beauty therapist. She's qualified in holistic aromatherapy. She's a wellness coach. So she really works in the beauty and wellness space, but she has a strong focus with remedy from the inside out. And I am so excited about this because we are not talking about superficial beauty. Tonight, we are looking at what we can do from the inside. Thank you so much, Rhonda. Now, that's me. My name is Madaleen, living on the Sunshine Coast, qualified as an occupational therapist, but working very holistically in the space of epigenetics. Now I'm going to hand over to my colleague Rhonda Muller. Rhonda lives in the beautiful Mackay. I've been working with Rhonda for the last 7, 8 years. She is so knowledgeable in nutritional therapy. Gut health is one of her specialties, mental health, specifically pediatric special needs. So Rhonda, let me hand over to you and you can take us through the slides. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to speak with you two ladies. I'm up in Mackay. I've pretty much been working in the sector for gut health and mental health, pediatric special needs since 2009, really, and it's something that I'm very, very passionate about. All right, so enough about me. So I'm not sure if everyone's heard about Ignace Semmelweis. He's was a maternity doctor from the 1800s, I think 1840, don't quote me. But the reason I put this slide in there is because some of the information that you'll be hearing tonight may sound a little bit foreign, it maybe even sound a little bit out there. But I just ask you to keep an open mind, be a critical thinker. Very much like Dr. Ignace Semmelweis in his day, because he was watching his maternity nurses washing their hands with soap, and he was asking, "What are you doing?" And they said, "Well, we've noticed that when we've been washing our hands, we're reducing the risk of infection." So he started to do the same, and he noticed exactly the same. So he went back to his colleagues to share what he had found, and they absolutely criticised him. He died a pauper. He ended up dying from sepsis, infections, etc. And so we just ask if you can keep an open mind, be a critical thinker, because there's something that may actually strike a chord with you, and you may pick up a few pearls along the way. Okay, so from hand washing to cellular activation. A big question a lot of people ask is declining health and the way that we look, function, and feel something we simply have to accept. And I'm here to tell you today or tonight, no, we do not need to accept that any further. So, Vicky, I'm going to hand over to you now, darling. We're going to just touch in regards to what you're seeing in clinic. You know, you've been in this industry for a long time, so I'll hand over to you if you can just give us a bit of an idea of what you're seeing in clinic, because we all know it's way more than just external health. You know, yeah.
Absolutely, Rhonda. And so thank you both for inviting me on. And I'm so super excited that people want to know more than just the beauty side of things, because that's my area of expertise. So yes, what I see in clinic, and I've had my clinic for nearly 35 years. So it's been over a long time, but it's the same thing that keeps coming up. So of course, when we think of skin health, we think of wrinkles, dryness, maybe dehydration. That's what people will come in for. But what I see is your skin reflects your internal health. So all these things that you see on the screen here, chronic stress, fatigue, when you're not sleeping right, your skin doesn't look right, does it? So yeah, we see it on the skin, but it's actually an indication that it's more of an internal thing. So if we can look after our internal health, therefore our skin responds much better. So it does plump up, and we're going to talk about collagen in particular today. So there are a number of reasons why skin can age prematurely. And those hormonal imbalances, nutrient deficiencies, and inflammation are part of the cause. So, am I clicking the screen or can someone else? Thank you. So, how did we get here? So, as you know, with lines on the skin, it's not like you don't have them yesterday and you have them today. It sometimes feels like that. You look in the mirror after a bad night's sleep, but it's normally a progression of time, right? So, it's a number of nights that we don't have sleep, that we suddenly get bags under our eyes, or it's a toxin accumulation. So, it's toxins in our food, chemicals that are just in our water supply, everything that we're eating and consuming, plus our environment. So all of those things build up over time and it impacts different systems. And our skin is our largest organ of the body. And so it's trying, its job, if you like, is to get rid of toxins as much as it is to protect the insides from the outside. So it's protecting it from pollution, chemicals, sun, that type of thing. Now, there's a couple of big factors here, stress, alcohol, and sugar. I want to bring your attention to those three things, particularly age us faster than anything else. We certainly have aging from menopause and hormonal disruption. But sugar, what it does with collagen, if I can just bring your attention to lining, and this happens a lot on the face through here, we get really deep lines, and glycation from sugar is where you get, it's called age, AGE. So you get it sticking to your collagen fibers and they become stiff, and it's almost like they're caramelized sugar, you know, like when you do it in the pan. So the collagen becomes stiff and you get very deep lines, almost like you've got sun damage, but it's actually from sugar. And this breaks down our collagen and therefore it's impacting the health of our skin and obviously lining as well. So clicking to the next slide. Thank you. One of the big factors apart from hormones and sun and stress is this cortisol. So cortisol is one of your stress hormones, pumped out as it's a little drip feed. So when you think of stress, quite often we think of our fight or flight system and we're thinking of adrenaline. So what keeps us going in that moment? The cortisol comes when it's a slower drip fed hormone that helps us, prepare and deal with stress. But what it's doing insidiously is breaking down our body from the inside out. But it does also break down our skin. So these are the consequences. Obviously, it shrinks the memory, which you might realize. So you've got a big part of collagen making up your brain. So it's that part of that memory, learning, emotional regulation. So you might remember that with hormonal changes. It reduces your feel-good hormones, your serotonin and your dopamine, and it does impact how you sleep. So all of these things sometimes seem quite obvious if you're going through something that is stressful, but what I see in clinic is people under stress and they don't realize they're in stress because it's a slow burn. It's like, it's not necessarily like when you've moved house or, you've got aging parents and something big is happening. It's more the slowness. You're late for work or you're stuck at the train station or you're dealing with busyness of kids, taking kids to activities. All those things are not regenerating and sleeping or resting actually means your body is starting to have higher levels of this cortisol, which breaks down your skin. Okay, next slide. So too much cortisol can create inflammation. So this can show up in different areas of the body. For the skin, it creates irritation and lining, obviously, because it's speeding up that aging process. But you can get flares in joints. You can get fatigue. So it does come in different forms. And I know we're going to talk about how that looks like in the body. So these are the areas that collagen is a big part of. So it's not just skin, it's a major part of your body, hair, skin, and nails, all your connective tissue, which is your muscles, parts of your brain, bones, nails, and cartilage. And the scary thing is, once you know about this, you can't unknow it. Collagen makes up about 30% of the protein in your body. So what does that mean? As we get older biologically, we are depleting, or our body is naturally breaking down. And collagen is a big part of that accelerated breakdown. So by the time you get to 50, you've only got half the amount of collagen that you were born with. Now, given that we are living a lot longer, particularly women, and if we're going to live healthily into our 80s, 90s, and beyond, we really want to make sure we're maintaining and preserving and increasing our collagen. So yeah, I know it is sad. So what causes collagen deficiency? So you have got just general aging, and that is going to happen, but we can slow down this stress, which we've talked about. Glyphosate, which if you don't know what that is, it's the chemicals that we use to spray foods and stuff. So that's why washing food is really important. So we're getting a lot of pesticides off. So anything that's a toxic load to our body increases the rate at which our collagen breaks down. Inflammation-inducing foods. So apart from sugar and alcohol, you've got your trans fats, if you're having a diet that's full of fast foods, no healthy greens, then that increases that rate of collagen breakdown. And of course, we've got environmental toxins as well. So what are the signs of collagen depletion? So you've got your obvious signs, which is what you can see on your face. So rough skin, you might find your pores are a bit more open, you get thinning hair, sometimes your hair starts falling out. So they might be obvious signs, but then you've got your not so obvious signs, which are tendon and ligament strains. You normally feel them as strains, or aches and pains that you didn't have, and you feel like they are for no reason. So poor mineral density. So your bone is tissue, and it does deplete over time. So collagen is a big part of that. You might be getting gut issues like food sensitivities where you've never had that before. And I know Rhonda's going to touch on that soon. So there's a big link between gut health and skin health, and also brain health and skin health, and that gut-brain barrier. So I think I'm handing over to you, Rhonda, now on, all things collagen.
Yeah, thank you, Vicky. I find it so interesting. I honestly did not know. Like, I see a lot of people with those really deep gouges, and they're our age, and I think, wow, they must have had a really stressful life. But now when I think about it, they are addicted to sugar. Holy dooly. I did not know that. So
and sugar's in everything.
I know. Wow. So yeah, thank you so much. So yeah, from a nutrient therapy side of things, like everything in regards to gut, all disease begins in the gut. So our skin is our largest organ, but the skin that we can see is only about 1.5 to 2 square meters in surface area. The internal skin, like our organs, the linings, our digestive tract, just our digestive tract from mouth to anus is pretty much 2 to 3 tennis courts, right? So that's not our veins, our arteries, or organs. So you think about it, it's crucial for nutrient absorption, hormones, immune defense, maintaining that barrier against pathogens, yeah? So it also helps us to regulate our body temperature, detoxification, and way, way more. So a lot of the times, the gut health really stems from one, pregnancy. What was the microbiome, the gut health like of our mothers? Was she taking any kind of medication? Were we breastfed? Were we bottle fed? All these different things. Were we born in a hospital? Excuse me, or a home birth? All of these things like C-section, vaginal delivery, these can really impact the gut health, the microbiome. Excuse me, and even like medication like acetaminophen. I'm not sure if people have been hearing about it, but I've been barking on about this since 2009. Acetaminophen is like paracetamol, Panadol or Tylenol. This actually depletes the microbiome. It damages the gut health significantly, breaks down collagen because it creates a whole host of other things, depletes your glutathione. So everything really starts in the gut. And what we're eating, the bacteria is going to feed on what we're eating. Like we were talking about sugar, well, that's going to feed the unfriendly bacteria. We want to crowd those guys out. We want to feed the good guys. So when it comes to the gut, this is a bit of a busy slide, and I do apologize, but I'm just looking at this other screen. But this one here, this is when everything's all healthy. You've got a really thick mucosal layer, and that's a bit deceiving because it's thinner than a strand of hair. But that's keeping all the unfriendly bacteria out, right? These are the tight junctions, keeping everything out of the bloodstream. These are free radicals. If you're breathing, metabolizing food, you're going to create free radicals. And the little blue Pac-Man, well, they're the little antioxidant molecules that we actually make ourselves, right? And this is the mitochondria. This is the battery in every single cell. When things are inflamed, for example, it could be stress, you could be eating a lot of sugar, you could be exposed to medication like the paracetamol, it could be the antibiotics, all these things. It depletes that mucosal layer. And this is predominantly collagen, right? Pretty much the whole structure is depending on collagen for the strength and flexibility and repair. It is severely depleted. It makes these tight junctions excessively leaky, right? And this is where the term leaky gut comes from. These free radicals are just running amok because they are thriving in an inflamed environment, because the antioxidant molecules that we normally make are becoming depleted. We're not making enough anymore through age, but also pesticides, herbicides, all these other things, which is then also damaging the mitochondria. And so when your mitochondria is damaged, it's going to be spewing out even more free radicals. So you will never heal your gut while you have oxidative stress, the free radicals, which create oxidative stress, which is then damaging the mitochondria. It's just you're putting fuel on the fire. So like Vicky was saying, most people are thinking collagen is just hair, skin, and nails, but it is a gut hero, supporting that barrier, not just for the gut, but also the blood-brain barrier, right? Our reproductive organs, all of these things, our immune, etc., that cellular resistance from the inside out. And I just want to take it, I don't know if we've got any health professionals on the line, but I just want to bring to your attention, when we've got all this happening, the free radicals, the damaged mitochondria, you will see there's an increased production of the interleukin 1B. I'll just make sure everyone's muted. I just think there's a bit of feedback coming through. But this interleukin 1B, that is, you've got a full-on flamethrower. Yes? So I just wanted you to take note of that, because I'm going to show you something really exciting. This is exactly the same kind of slide in regards to gut health, but because of the loss of the tight junctions, inflammatory markers, take note of the TNFA, interleukins again, all flaming that fire, creating even more inflammation, right? Reduced gut bacteria, reduced gut barrier function, infiltration, allowing pathogenic, unfriendly bacteria to seep through. So this yellow cluster in the middle is of the L cells. That's responsible for making our GLP-1 hormone. And that hormone helps to regulate your blood sugar. And we're just hearing about how sugar is aging us, right? So we really, so important that we're keeping that blood sugar under control, but also the appetite. When these L cells, when the GLP-1 hormone starts to drop, we start craving sugar. We start craving all the processed foods that is throwing fuel on the fire for that inflammation. So if there's any kind of damage, any inflammation, your L cells cannot work properly, and the GLP-1 is going to drop even more. So like I was saying, cravings, more blood sugar spikes, even more gut damage. It's a real vicious cycle, and Madeleen's going to touch on this a little bit as well. So it's so important, right, that we have a diverse range of beneficial bacteria. And like Vicky was saying, are you eating your greens, right? Do you have that diversity of the food that you're eating? You're not just eating the same foods every single day, because the food you're eating is either going to feed the beneficial bacteria or it's going to feed the bad bacteria, which is going to send signals to the brain saying, feed me carbs, all the processed cakes and pastas and everything like that, which in moderation is okay, but all this stuff breaks down into sugar. Yeah. So we need to be really mindful. Instead of having the diversity of the Amazon jungle, we have the diversity of a concrete courtyard with a cat, dog, and a bird, and maybe a couple of pots and plants. It depends on what you're feeding. We need to crowd out the bad guys, stop feeding them, and really focus on diversity of your diet, right? So again, this is all about the gut bacteria being out of balance from stress, poor diet, medications like I was talking about, the acetaminophen, the Tylenol, the paracetamol, antibiotics, toxins like the glyphosate, which is, the active ingredient in Roundup. All of these things are going to put the gut and the bacteria out of balance, irritating the gut lining, triggering the inflammation. So less GLP-1 means more inflammation, craving, metabolic, and all the bad bacteria is going to thrive. It's going to say, thank you so much. All right, but it's not all doom and gloom, right? We can flip the switch on this. And tonight we're going to show you how we can reactivate your body and reawaken pathways that have gone dormant, or they've gone to sleep, or they've been damaged, right? We're going to reawaken it. So we've been talking about all the things that have gone wrong, like the stress, medication, bacteria, inflammation, free radicals, yada, yada, right? Low collagen. But the good news is you're not broken, and we can switch it back on. And this is where activation comes in. So welcome to the front lines of the next frontier. We don't wait for the future of healthcare because we're activating it. We're not like whatever is in your family history does not determine your future. We're going to show you a way you can take a detour and really empower yourselves, be proactive, because within us, right, we have the greatest untapped breakthrough in human performance, health span, longevity, and it's just waiting to be reactivated. So Madaleen, I'll hand over to you now, darling. If you can just step us through Activation Nation, what we've been doing and why we're so passionate about getting this message out.
Thank you so much, Rhonda. I am so excited because I remember the day when I was first presented with this information. And I thought, as a health professional, why didn't anyone tell me this? So today I am that person telling you this really exciting information. So we are aligned with LiveVantage, and LiveVantage is the activation company. So like Rhonda said, you have particular pathways that with the aging process, with environmental factors, those pathways slow down. So if you think about a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, what comes to mind is really life in abundance, happy, healthy, recovering really quickly, beautiful skin. But if you think about 95-year-old people, it's not really the same. And what we can do is we can reactivate those pathways. And it is so empowering because it puts the key back in your hands. So the old model is broken. This is not about treating symptoms. And yes, there's a place for the medical system. Emergency medical treatment is very valuable, but when you on a day-to-day basis can activate your health, it is really going to tap into your dormant potential, and that is really exciting. So Rhonda touched on oxidative stress. So for those of you who are not familiar with oxidative stress, if you think about an apple and you leave it on the counter, it's going to turn brown. Unfortunately, that exact same thing is happening to your cells. So even you just breathing is going to cause basically rusting of your cells. Now, if you add all of those external factors like the GMOs, the cell phones, Wi-Fi, insecticides, pesticides, whatever you put on your skin. We didn't necessarily touch on that. I think Vicky's going to touch on that later. But beauty products, unfortunately, many of those are really toxic. Whatever you put on your skin will be in your bloodstream in 28 seconds. So all of those create a lot of oxidative stress. And if you think about exercise, exercise is great, but if you do exercise at really large volumes, you are like an oxidative stress machine because the breathing is just accelerated. So all of those metabolic processes are just at such a high volume that you're going to make so much more oxidative stress. Now, if you go into the scientific literature, you can type in any type of disease and oxidative stress and see if there's a link. When I did that, my mind was blown. And I knew how important it is to look at our oxidative stress levels. So if you have a look at how you can combat oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is when you have too many free radicals. You can combat that with taking in antioxidants. When you take in antioxidants from food sources, it works on a 1-to-1 ratio. So one antioxidant will eliminate one free radical. At any given time, you've got trillions and trillions of free radicals. So the problem is you will never be able to eat yourself out of the problem. Now, do we recommend that you eat junk food all day long and not take care of your health? Absolutely no. You need to eat good, healthy food, nutritious food. We need the nutrients. But we need a better way, and the better way is the Protandim breakthrough. So Protandim is an NRF2 pathway, and it's literally going to unlock that process to help your body to make its own antioxidants. If you have a look at that slide on the right hand side, you can see when babies are born, their oxidative stress level is really low until you hit your early 20s. So if you think about the lifespan of a human, you continue to grow, and then around your 20s, things stabilize. You don't grow anymore. And that is where oxidative stress kicks in because that aging process starts. Now, you will continue to have more and more oxidative stress unless you activate the NRF2 pathway. And with this particular study, they provided a dosage of NRF2 for people between 20 and 80 years old. And after 120 days, they could not distinguish in the bloods between the 80-year-olds and the 20-year-olds. Now, that is extremely exciting because think about the lifestyle and the quality of life that you're going to have if you are 80 and you can say, my blood looks like a 20-year-old. So Protandim is our flagship product. Beautiful 5 natural herbs combined in a specific synergy. So if you have a look at the ingredients are green tea, turmeric, bacopa, ashwagandha, and milk thistle. If you take them individually, that's okay. But if you combine them in this particular synergy, it is 18 times more effective. The science team that developed this, it wasn't an overnight science experiment, throw a couple of things together and see what comes up. It was a 40-year process, 2,500 different blends that they tested to find the most effective NRF2 activation. And as a result, people get really amazing outcomes in their life. This is a live blood analysis of a 3rd-generation naturopath. He actually lives on the Sunshine Coast. So as you can imagine, he's been doing a lot of things right with stress and all the nutrients and supplements and eating well. But that slide on the left-hand side, you can see all of those yellow spots are his oxidative stress levels, and only after 30 days on the right-hand side, it is barely visible, the oxidative stress. So even on a blood level, you can see what is happening. Now, when we look at NRF2 activation, what we do is we are regulating survival genes, about 500 survival genes. So if you think about inflammatory markers, anti-inflammatory genes, we want all of those genes to be regulated. So if you think about a piano, if you leave it in the basement, after 20, 40 years, it's going to be all out of tune. That happens to our genes as well. And when I talk about these genes, it's not the genes that code for the color of your hair, the color of your eyes. It's the genes that code for health. Rhonda previously talked about you are not you don't have to repeat the diseases of your forefathers. Now, with all of this, we do not make any claims to heal, cure, prevent, mitigate disease, but this is really unlocking your body's own potential to do what it's supposed to do. So that is before you are activating your genes, and this is afterwards. So you can see it's beautiful, it's balanced out, and as a result, you're going to have quality of life. Thank you so much, Rhonda. So as you can imagine, with everything that I've explained now, how amazing it is. This company was launched in 2003 in the US. In 2005, word got out that it was potentially amazing. And so many universities started to do research on their dollar on Protandim NRF2. And one of the studies that really stand out to me is this study that was done by Washington State University in 2015. And they said NRF2 is likely to be the most important health promoting approach in the foreseeable future. NRF2 may become the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. Not my words, the words of Washington State University. And you can go onto pubmed.gov. That's where doctors go to find their medical information. We've got 28 peer-reviewed studies, not paid for by the company, but independent universities like LSU, Harvard, even the American Heart Association. Protandim NRF2 is the only supplement ever featured in the American Heart Association journal. So for me as a health professional, when I saw this, I knew I would have to be on this product for the rest of my life, and everyone that I meet and everyone that I love. So when we look at the skin health that Vicky so beautifully explained, it is really all about the foundation and how can we get all of those cells in our body, in our gut, aligned and really healthy. So now I'm going to hand back to Rhonda, and Rhonda is going to do a little bit of a deep dive on collagen and why our collagen is absolutely incredible. Thanks, Rhonda.
Thank you, Madaleen. And I remember, like, I didn't hear about NRF2 activation until 2018. And I'd been studying since 2009 and not once had I heard about it. And when I did hear about it and I spoke to a pediatrician in the US, that's when I got cranky, because holy dooly, everyone deserves to know about these products. So I used to sell collagen in my clinic. I used to have a health food store, and I used to sell lots of, different types of collagen. And this photo here was something I actually took in Coles. And when you look at all of what's available, they sell collagen. I was absolutely gobsmacked that they're allowed to even call it collagen, because most of the time there's no collagen in there, or they don't even label as in what type of collagen. But even when they do, you can see maltodextrin. This one was from, genetically modified corn and all these sugars, and it was just absolute rot. I used to do cooking workshops about, bone marrow and making, cooking your bone broths and things like that. Well, your bone broth and stuff, it's pretty much just cooked collagen, and there's all different ways you can do it, but it's beautiful. You just need to be really mindful of the source, right? And so collagen has many health benefits. I'm not going to go over because pretty much Vicky's covered it. The only thing I would like to say is that our bones are 40% collagen. When you hit 50, like Vicky said, we've already lost half of our collagen. Throw menopause into the mix, holy dooly, right? Fragile bones. We do not want that. But yes, it's going to help with our gut, our heart, hair, nails, eyes. Eyes are 90% collagen. Our muscles, the muscles, we really need that strong muscle in order to keep the skeletal mass nice and strong, that bone density, which again comes in from collagen, right? But also the brain. It is absolutely vital for brain health to keep our collagen up and going where it needs to be. And then come in pregnancy. So this is something I'm really passionate about, having 4 kids and now 4 grandchildren as well. But it supports healthy pregnancy, wound and recovering, that joint, bone formation, brain development, the protein requirements. It's so, so vital for gut health for mum and baby, but also the brain for the baby, the blood-brain barrier. It's so, so important. You know, that mucosal layer that I was talking about that becomes leaky. We need to stay on top of that. So the real things that I love about this liquid collagen that we're about to talk about is that it's not just a supplement. In fact, everything that LifeVantage puts out is not just supplementation, it is activation. This product is going to activate your own collagen production again. Again, reawaken, wake up, and take it back to when you were like a squishy 20-year-old, right? We start to make collagen again. It's going to replenish the collagen that you've lost. It's going to maintain, meaning no more further breakdown. And to me, that's a big win. And if you can see, that's what I'm holding up. It's a 50 ml bottle, and it is delicious. What activates it is the ruby red quinoa extract. So I'm not going to go right into the science. If you're a bit of a science geek like me and you want more information, please reach out to the person who was kind enough to share this with you. And, you know, we can get on a call or they can step you through it. But it's activating genes to boost collagen production, you know, 5 times more than what any other collagen on the planet is doing. It's activating your internal antioxidant system. For example, like NRF2, the protein NRF2 that Madaleen was talking about. It's activating catalase, so superoxide dismutase by 2,700%, catalase by 202%, and the cola the 1A2, which is a type 1 production, is increased by 42%. Now, majority of joints and everything are actually made out of this type 1 collagen. Everyone wants it. Everyone needs it. But we're also decreasing the MMP9 gene, and that's the one that breaks down collagen. And we're reducing that by 33%. And that's why we're getting collagen density by 100%. It's huge. So it's wild-caught marine peptides, 5,000 milligrams of hydrolyzed, meaning that we're going to absorb at least 90% of this, right? And 10 different types of collagen. So it's from the scales. It's not from the fish. And everything is triple tested for heavy metals, microplastics, you name it. I just absolutely love it. And it doesn't just have 1 or 2 types of collagen, it has 10. Absolutely extraordinary. We're maintaining the collagen with the berry and the citrus fruit extracts. There's no artificial colors, flavors, or anything like that in this. It's heirloom citrus. It's beautiful. It tastes delicious. We've gone with liquid because powder, we're lucky if we absorb about 10 to 30%. We've got a minimum of 90%. It is extraordinary. So these are some of the other collagens that are on the market. Feel free to take a screenshot of that. You can see our True Science liquid collagen activates your collagen production, replenishes, and maintains. No other collagen on the planet does that. Ours is a marine. It's hydrolyzed, has 5,000 milligrams of collagen. It's portable, ready. You just crack it open and you drink it. Activates in your antioxidants, superoxide dismutase, and has 10. Now, like I was saying, many other products don't even list how many types of collagen. And if they do, you're lucky if you've got 1, 2, 3, or even 4. We've got 10. And these are some of the things. I don't have time to go through them, but I just want to bring to your attention, you know, like the reducing cellulite. Some of the before and afters are insane, helping with wounds, joint health. We're helping with eyes, body's placenta, also in regards to cartilage, the spine, the nervous system. We're looking at the central nervous system. So when you think the central nervous system is attached to the brain, think of any cognitive decline, and you definitely want to incorporate this into your daily routine. So we're going to be talking a little bit now about taking these 2 products together. So every afternoon, I take this bottle and I open up the little tablet and I crack open the liquid collagen and I swallow it. That's exactly what I do, right? Because it's boosting your collagen production. You make your own. You're going to supplement. You maintain the collagen and you're reducing oxidative stress, inflammatory markers. But this is the science geeky side of me. When you take the studies, like this is not just us saying this. LifeVantage is 100% backed by robust science. Now, remember I was saying, remember interleukin 1B? Look at this. We're reducing that inflammatory marker by 97%. Other inflammatory markers, 41%, 61%. That's not even mentioning these other ones, yeah? Every single person should be taking this. Absolutely, everyone. Vicky, I'll hand over to you, darling.
Thanks, Rhonda. I am so geeky as well. I just love that collagen study. You saw the image there, increase of 42%. And for women who want better skin, that means you've got the plump back in your skin. And collagen also helps our skin maintain that moisture. So it's not just about fiber and support as much as we want that. So we're going to go through some of these slides really quick just to go through the improvement that you can see. And this is on the protandem NRF2 activation. So you can see how there's a reduction in irritation with the collagen and the protandem. I want you to notice the plumpness in the skin here. So you can see in all those photos, the plumpness, the darkness under the eyes is going, lines are going, the lifting of eyelids is actually improving. And also too, it doesn't matter, men or women, we're all the same. We've all got skin, whether we've got other pigmentation that comes up, that's part of a damaged, accelerated aging process, and that actually comes back to gut health. So cellulite, Rhonda mentioned about the cellulite there and the sagging, and that is, there's a lot of reasons why that happens, but that breakdown and those MMPs that start breaking us down on the inside as well as the outside. So yes, that loss of elasticity, hair, you can see on that one on the left, the scalp is, you can see the difference. This one is amazing. This woman on the left couldn't put her hand flat with arthritis or, inflammation in the joints. And on the right-hand side, she can lie flat. So it's pretty amazing from a, what's the word? When you're wanting quality of life, it's not just about the pretty beauty as much as we all like to feel confident and good in our skin. So this is what we can see on the surface. Just remember, it is also doing the same on the inside. We just get to see it. So one of the reasons why I liked the skincare that LifeVantage has is it has also got the NRF2 activation, or that pathway that it has in it. So the first thing is clean products. We talked about toxic load. If you see the numbers down on the bottom of that presentation, the year 1010, that's the toxic load level that we can see. So that's on an app called Think Dirty. If you haven't heard of that before, you can go check it out. It's an independent app that rates skincare products. There's another one called Yuka, which also does food and skin. So it's also on there. 01, it's green because it's good. There's nothing bad in there. And there are, with years and years of experience, I can honestly say most anti-aging products have a lot of stuff in there that is more damaging to your skin than it is anti-aging or reducing lines. So really look at this for a clean skin. Plus, if you have sensitive skin, it is amazing. One of the things I do want to point out is there was a Louisiana State University study done where they crushed up the protandem NRF2 and made it into a paste and applied it to some very serious skin conditions. And they had significant positive results. So they recommended that that it be manufactured into a skincare product. And this was the start of the True Science range. So it is much more than a skincare line. It's not just treating your skin, it's actually reducing all that free radical damage that's happening. So it is, in a sense, a market disruptor. We are doing something that's very unique and different from anything else on the beauty market. So handing over to you, Madaleen.
Thank you so much, Vicky. And after everything that we've heard, I can tell you when you go into the media, if you watch your social media, there's a lot happening in the health space. Peter Attia recently published this book, Outlive, where he talks about how you can live longer. Tony Robbins published Life Force, Longevity Code, and Good Energy is everything about how to balance your sugar levels, your insulin levels. And when you look at those publications, a lot of people are talking around the subject, but they're not actually talking about activation. So they all have all these little hacks, but they haven't discovered really what you can do to activate your body. And we have that. Not only do we have that, we've been operating in this field for the last 20 years. We don't only have the NRF2, we've got a range of products. So we really want to encourage you to get loud with us about activation. I remember the day when I was first introduced to the science, I rolled my eyes because I've been using supplements before, didn't feel anything. It was just expensive, but I didn't have any quality of life change. And when I started with the activators, in 3 days, I woke up really amazing, feeling amazing. And I just wanted to shout it to everyone that I knew. So what we do is we take it to make it. So instead of taking the antioxidants, we help your body to make its own antioxidants. Instead of taking collagen, we help your body to reactivate that pathway to make your own collagen. So we really want to ask you, who do you know? Is there anyone in your world that you can share these products with? Any type of businesses, hairdressers, beauticians, occupational therapists, physiotherapists, so many people can really add to this conversation. And what I love about this company is that we are fully transparent. We are traded on the NASDAQ. These products are listed with the Banned Substances Control Group. So that means it's safe for Olympic athletes to use. We actually have Olympic athletes using the NRF2 activator with amazing results. It's triple tested. For heavy metals, it's listed with the TGA in Australia. And Erin Brockovich, not Judy Roberts, the real one, she was previously on our board of directors. So it shows you that we are attracting really credible people. In terms of health professionals, you don't have to be a health professional, but just to give you some perspective, we've got cardiologists and plastic surgeons and anesthetists on our team, and all of these people did their due diligence. So thinking about naturopaths and nutritionists and personal trainers working with their clients, you can have so much better results, quicker results with the people that you are working with. Vicky previously showed that hand for me as an occupational therapist. I've worked with a lot of conditions before. I don't think ever in any class anyone told me about collagen. And now I see amazing transformations, not because we are making any claims to heal disease, but we give you that key that your body can unlock all of this by itself. So I really want to thank you for spending time with us. We are going to end the recording, but please go back to the person that invited you. If you have any more questions, we would be more than happy to help you with your questions. And if you are interested in doing this as an affiliate, like we all do, sharing this with your network, we would also be happy to support you. Thank you so much, Rhonda.